Hey, howdy, and hello, everybody. Welcome back to Copa America Group Stage, day number 3. It is an honor and a privilege to be here in front of you all. Today, we've got the final 2 group stage matches on our hands for you. They're gonna be some bangers. I will say we've got some absolute bangers, and I have the genuine pleasure of casting this particular banger. Of course, my name is Hyper. Before I get too ahead of myself, my name is Hyper. I'm joined here with Bald Hyper. And today we will be starting out round 6 out of the 7 rounds of the group stage across this 2-weekend event. We'll be starting out with the United States versus Costa Rica. Costa Rica sitting at a crisp 5-0 at the moment, losing to no team so far in the group stage, with the United States' only loss coming in a close 2-1 against Canada, where the likes of Costa Rica came out on top, also in a 2-1 banger event. So keep in mind these upcoming matches, they will be they will be first to 2s, not your typical first to 3s you might see in something the likes of Face It League. However, in the playoffs next weekend, the top 6 of this group stage, it will move on to those playoffs next weekend. The top 6 will see first to 3 matches all weekend long, and I will have the pleasure as well of being there to cast it alongside you all. So to bring us to our opening map, it will be Costa Rica's map pick and first ban. They can ban anything they please, but they can only ban that particular character once in this series, and banning whatever role they ban out. So let's say they ban a tank, that means the United States cannot ban a tank, but the United States could ban the same character that Costa Rica bans, say next map. So you can't ban in the same role, but you can ban the same character. You yourself as a team can't ban the same character twice. So we will be hopping in to see where we'll be headed, where Costa Rica will be taking us, as well as what the bans will be here in just a moment. As it is interesting to note that yesterday the United States in both the round 4, 5, and 6 matches, both of those, 4 and 5, both the round 4 and 5 matches, we saw the United States have the opportunity to go for the first pick and the first map pick, and we saw Ilios out of both of them. So I do wonder if Costa Rica will change it up a little bit, if we'll see something different, if they won't want to take the United States to somewhere where perhaps they're comfortable and they're confident in a map. But I'm also curious to see a lot of this Costa Rica squad locked in and online. You know, some of these names, that of Wed, Spooky, Benji, Fresco, KL, we've seen these names in other spots across the esport, and as well as the United States. Social, Boop, Amity, Azure, Fern. Yesterday we saw a lot of Azumi and Maverick as well. We've seen these names throughout esports time and time again, so I am stoked to be able to see them again and to see them pop off, because I have not had the opportunity to see Costa Rica pop off so far in this 5-0 record that they have. But we will be headed to Oasis, with Zarya being first banned by Costa Rica. And this first ban is very intriguing, because not only did the US not quite been showcasing the Zarya too much, but it is still interesting to see maybe that it's a cover off ban. But the secondary ban will be the Bastion from the United States. as they cover it off. That DPS role, and they ban the Bastion, preventing the Cat Bastion from being played. So, gamers, it's time. United States versus Costa Rica. It is time indeed. What just disconnected? I don't know what that sound was. That was me, but I don't know what it was, and now I'm concerned. I don't know what that is. I genuinely don't know what's disconnecting and reconnecting. But we're hopping into it, ladies, gentlemen, and gamers of all ages. I found out what it was. It was the camera. This just in. Uh-oh. We're back. We're so back. Okay. I think we're back. Are we back? We are back. Okay. And we're already locked into this game. A midi out on to this Sigma. And we're actually seeing a bit of a role swap than what we're used to from these squads. It's going to be Social out on the DPS. So Social mentioned before the match started that Timp has been teaching them a thing or two, and I think we'll be seeing that in play, in action, as the rest of the US takes to the high ground. It'll be Costa Rica to try and pressure that high ground, take on Social as Spooky goes for the dive. Pressure being fully applied. Spooky, though, falling low, needing assistance desperately, but not able to find it. Wed doing their best to keep Benji up and alive. Fresco Leche is in that backline, hitting the shots in a nasty style onto the likes of Social, but still living nonetheless, falling quite low, but it'll be Stella to find that pick onto KL, and Social to find that secondary pick in the United States with that early ability, able to take over this match, take over the point. And now Social retakes the high ground. Spooky, though, already there to match it. And it'll be Stella to look to re-engage and assist Social as Spooky looks to keep that distance, play the distance, but Wed already taken down. The misfortune of being just off the mark. But the wall from Asia was nasty. We saw Asia on this May quite a bit yesterday, and the stagger is gonna be devious. Even the Suzu, the wall, the boop, everything being put into play. The boop, literally, as boop is in play. Oh my god, boop is dead. Boop is dead on the streets of Oasis. Spooky clobbers them into dust, finds the secondary pick onto Asia. It couldn't have gone worse for the United States, as now this is the way in that Costa Rica needed. The bomb gets used along with both of the Kiriko ultimates. Now it's this Brigitte ultimate to come flying in, looking for a bit of push of their own. It'll be Boop to go for the beat for the re-engage. Costa Rica does cap the point. And now it's going to be a midi to look into this back line and find the pick onto Wed. Oh, KL, though, taken down. No chance to be able to be found. As Fresco Leche finds Asia, and the cleanup occurs on aisle 3. Costa Rica with that footing, in control of the point. This is what they needed, and now they have that ult economy advantage as well. A brilliant fight. As a midi does indeed hit that early rock on the Spooky. Spooky's gonna be forced to hard kite here. Doesn't have the health to stay engaged. Benji, who is playing this high ground, looks to shut down Boop, who's playing the Lucio as a Lucio would be played. I mean, literally just wall riding the hell out of it. And Asia will get taken down though by Fresco Leche, and that's gonna easily lead to a bit of walking here, as we see Benji almost taking up that tank role down main, as Spooky playing the off angle. A lot of rocks hitting left and right from a midi onto Spooky, shutting down Spooky's engages and forcing Spooky out. Yet another rock. This time, though, it's not quite landing. Stella, though, has this Curial online. Wed still 5% away from it. The Suzu used will give the rest of that ult charge needed, but no rock online as a midi runs it down, but will get shut down by Benji's Brigitte. Spooky looking to stay alive, but just barely. KL takes down the Tracer of Ager, and now we're in less than final fight territory. Boop getting taken down so late in this fight. Social doesn't have the Bob online to be able to find a touch, and it will be no touch. For the United States, it will be Costa Rica to take round number 1.
Let's get this show on the road.
Barrier initialized.
5, 4. The fire in my heart will never burn out.
The TP out of spawn
The fire in my heart will never burn out.
by Ager. And now that I think the big difference we're seeing is now going to be Social coming out on this Onron, but it'll be Fresco Leche coming out on this bicycle rider. Oh, Stella just absolutely obliterated that minor perk of the 20% increased damage, having an exponential play as Benji just whips away at a midi and Boop, taking out those picks. And once again, Costa Rica showing why they have this 5-0 group stage record. And although the United States forced to do a little bit of role swap here with Social playing the DPS instead of the typical support, they do hear this back line Fresco Leche come in, and it'll be Social to find the pick onto the flanking damage player. But the early wall from Asia looks to split off the rest of this Costa Rica squad. Midi looks to walk forward and put that pressure on. The TP out, though, from the likes of Wed, forces the hand of a Midi literally as the hands get used. It'll be the shield to come out to assist Asia, and the bash out from Benji, but KL to take down Asia, as now KL gets walked on as Boop finds themselves getting picked. Wed goes for the ultimate. Benji does find the pick onto Stella, who is only 5% away from that ultimate, but too little too late for the United States, as it will be Costa Rica coming with the follow-up fight and some nice ults in tow. Now, that's not to say the United States here doesn't have some good ults. They're going to have Stella's ultimate online as well, soon to be Boops and Socials, but also Asia and Midis. We have the alphabet on the team, on Team US, with the S, the A's, and the B. But on the side of Costa Rica, they have the W in tow, as this is looking to be what could be the final fight. Stella to get taken down, the ult canceled altogether. The Curie Jacks, if you will. The ult comes out from a midi onto the ult in KL. KL 1 HP, able to take down Asia, but a midi is able to find that final blow. A midi trying their best to find the picks, but it's going to be Fresco Leche to dive deep into the back line and to give them a piece of their mind. Boop does find the trade onto the ulting onto the ulting Xion, but this brawl is not nearing its end. Spooky finds the pick on the Boop as Social releases that railgun, that overclock, slides into the back line, looks for KL, but KL blinks out of harm's way, but not for a second time, not in time anyways. Fresco Leche has found their way back into the action, both major and minor perks in full tow, finding the pick onto Stella, looking for the final blow onto the likes of a midi as well. Boop is back on the jetpack cat, but what can they do but watch as Costa Rica takes map number 1 2-0 on Oasis, quite handily so. I mean, it was truly just dominance on map number 2, on round number 2, excuse me, from the side of Costa Rica. We saw this diva brawl being used and in full bloom at that. I mean, just beautiful stuff being played. Costa Rica finding their footing, as it is now going to be the United States' map pick, and it's gonna have to be something good for them. It's gonna have to be something very decisive, because taking a look at that particular map, sorry, I was talking to social. I asked social. That's what Tim taught you. And then taught my team to be trolls. Like, what? But I digress. It will be the USA's map pick and first ban. And although these map options for the US are going to be the escort maps of Junkertown, Shambali Monastery, and Havana. So Junkertown, Shambali Monastery, and Havana being the options for the likes of the US. And, you know, we know the US likes to, they have the ability to play a wide variety of compositions. They have the flexibility. They have a very large roster in the backhand. I'd say quite significantly larger than that of Costa Rica. Costa Rica fielding only 6 members, or the US 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 members. So a nice variety there, but we will be getting it taken to Shambali Monastery, picked again by the United States, with the first ban of Iyadi. Now that follow-up ban from Costa Rica, and very, very, I'd say intelligently so, the May. That May being out of play, very much so shows the favor that this United States squad has towards playing that Brig, the Brig Lucio, or even that Sigma with the May, and this highly supports Costa Rica's wanting to play the Diva. No May on the field makes things easier for a May to geolocate the backline, for lack of better terms. So it will be match point, as this is a 1-2 series in this group stage, and we will be headed here to Costa Rica's first defense. The United States on the offense here, up 1-0. And do keep in mind, once again, this was the United States' map pick, and we had mentioned a bit yesterday about the possibilities of this map and the various picks and flexible compositions that can be played on it. And it's looking like we're going to see exactly that. Fresco Leche going to be pulling out that Farah. Amity going to be pulling out the Ramatra. The Kiri Mizuki going to be played here by Stella and Boop. But on the other side of things, it'll be this Wu Yang from Benji playing this hard off angle. Azure going for a deep TPS. Social's the one to take down Wed first. And that's worst case scenario for Costa Rica, to lose that Kiriko first. That's so much healing gone and dusted, as Social looks to press the advantage here. keep this waltz forward. Looking for Benji, but catching Waterworks on that off angle. Benji falling low, looking for that pick onto Boop, finding it. Benji with the two-piece, looking for more now, but a midi able to take them down. Now putting hands up, swinging onto the rest of the squad, but getting stuck in the corner, and Fresco Leche will take full advantage of the pinned down tank player from the US. As this Reaper being stuck to, and Fresco Leche will get to have a wide range of options on this Pharah. Social will be able to try and keep Fresco Leche in check, but only by so much by playing these angles. Boop taken down earlier, does no favors, and it will be Social and Azure to get followed up, and the rest of the picks just funnel Costa Rica's way. As now the ults begin to come online here for Costa Rica. Some swaps made as Asia swaps over to this Tracer. Boop onto the Lucio. Some interesting swaps as KL getting hard pressed. Asia looking for that pick. It'll be Boop to find KL though. The Sig ult comes out from Spooky to slam down onto a midi falling low as Fresco Leche goes deep into the backline using that Wu Yang ultimate, but finding Social nonetheless. Stella going for an ultimate of their own. The Kiriko ultimate being matched by Wed. KL on their way back with an ultimate of their own, but the rock to come out landing on a midi forces the hand of Stella to use that Kiri ult, and now the ult from a midi to come out swinging. The rock once again landing on a midi, forcing a midi to kite back, and now that KL's back, they find the pick onto the off-angling Social, and Social will have an ult when they come back, but that's a big win. They come back because a midi down and out. KL waltzing forward like a dance of this Sojourn, able to pick and prod at this backline, taking those picks and those pieces and still having the ultimate online. Social will have this override protocol online, and with a midi swapping over to the Diva, maybe enabling that Imre a bit more and shutting down this Pharah a bit more. They just have to be cautious not to over engage, as now KL goes for an ultimate to match the ultimate of Social. Social looking for this backline, looking for Wed, more specifically the heavy round going straight to the throat as Benji gets taken down as well. Social, a demon in the backline, but shut down by the demon of KL. Azure says hold that with the pulse bomb, but Fresco Leche is able to find the pick on the Boop as KL still finds their one. Fresco Leche still looking for more, but desperately gonna be trying to shut down Azure in the backline here. Amidi just standing on this point. Social going to the Sombra, switching back fast. Fresco Leche shut down, alas, as the United States looks to finish up this cap and bring this first point to an end. But KL with a pick on to Boop, and Azure going down to Benji, who went to the Lucio. This Malga swap looking to be quite a hefty good one, and the Suzu just in the nick of time from Wed, but the spooky Malga goes down, and a midi still online, and still especially with this bomb, but the Boop doesn't quite C9 them, but it does eventually bring them to an end. The US was able to experience two C9s, or rather force two C9s yesterday from two separate teams, but today they're the ones who are getting to C9'd just by the sheer re-engagement power we saw from Costa Rica. I mean, Costa Rica really coming back with the swift hammer, coming back on the Malga, coming back on the Vendetta. Even the Lucio from Benji to get back faster. We saw Boop switch to Lucio, but that was quite a few fights prior. It was more so just a speed run of getting back to that point. But this does leave the US in a winnable situation. Difficult, pardon me, but winnable. As it's going to take a lot of chutzpah, a lot of energy, a lot of United States of Smash type energy, if you will. Because, I mean, this is only first point that we're talking about here, right?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
But it'll be Spooky initially rolling out on the Doomfist. Fresco Leche also sitting in that spawn, just kind of waiting. But eventually, it will be Fresco Leche to roll out on the Tracer. Spooky on the Zarya. Social will be bringing out this Freya. Gonna pump in the damage into the backline. It's something that the Freya does exponentially well is keep the tank at bay. No matter what tank it is, just the ability to pump that damage in. You see all those aim in right clicks, the burst damage that those present, and the cycle that you can do on them as Fresco Leche finds Asia. Fresco Leche being an MVP player for the side of Costa Rica so far. Immediately, it is the United States though on this offense, looking to try and, on this defense, playing it like it's offense, playing in the faces of Costa Rica. Midi will find the rock and the pick, but it'll be eventually the United States to get forced out and Costa Rica to start their march forward on this point, putting 3 on it, keeping that cart moving as quickly as it possibly can, eventually moving players off of it, looking to go take a forward setup. A bubble used early by Spooky farms a whole lot of energy early. Fresco Leche putting the pressure onto Boop, onto Social on this off angle, as Asia now looks to take the duel, but KL's the one to take the pick deep into the backline. Does Asia go to try and find the trade, but can't find it? Wet has the ult early, and Amidi shut down. Stella closing in on the ult, but it's just KL and Fresco Leche surging forward with the assistance of Wed's ultimate. And Asia, the last to fall. Social just chucks the ultimate in, but I mean, with the fear force of Costa Rica and the willpower of dominance being shown, it's Costa Rica to take the 2-0 victory over the United States, and not only bring it to a 6-0 record for their country in Copa America, but also to bring things around, or rather to keep things heavily in their favor. I mean, we head back to the map pick here and see Costa Rica, their bands of Zarya, their bands of May, alongside the United States' ban of Bastion and even a Yachty. Nothing really working in favor of Costa Rica. Costa Rica picking Oasis, the United States picking Shambali Monastery. But I mean, just utter dominance for the likes of Costa Rica. It will send the United States down to a 4-2 record, which I believe technically they're not quite out of the woodworks. I'm not entirely sure. I think it depends on how the rest of the matches go. But that will be our round number 6 done and dusted here in Copa America. We have one final round of group stage left to lock in the top 6 to find out not only who's going to be headed to next weekend's playoffs, but also the seeding heading into next weekend's playoffs, as that will be just as important, because you could have the likes of Argentina facing off against Costa Rica, or you could have someone like Canada facing off against the likes of the United States if all things go that wrong for the US for the rest of the day. So round 7 coming up here. You won't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes with who's playing and in how long. It shouldn't be too long, so go to the bathroom, get a snack, relax, take a breather. We'll be right back with some more wicked action, as you definitely won't want to miss this next and final group stage match. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Able to just get out in time. No eliminations to be found from the tire, but Bobby Wasabi will go down. Mercy the full suit. And Columbia still having these very, very scrappy fights. Wolverine goes on in, finds no hits. As Winston is forced back, the Kiriko will be able to recover with team here as Bobby Wasabi is barely alive. You have res in play, but for Bobby here, getting to this high ground is very important. As we're now with the Annihilation Protocol, needs to hit their shots, but so much time in the air, but no eliminations to be found. I mean, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, Skycar has been good in a lot of work. You do have that Death Blossom to start a play on up, but I don't think Bobby Wasabi is going to be able to survive the fight. Just going to be able to get rid of that trap there to start. They really desperately need to be able to get a takedown here. Those nades dealing a lot of damage off of a missed block. But the White Tiger is in, and they're looking for some takedowns. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. The ride is too much for this lifetime as Primal Rage is going into the backline there. Big startup to try to kind of separate this Kiriko. Will not get the finish, but Kratos-san does trade it on back. Bobby Wasabi playing for the Mega here as Junkrat's coming up. Gets the trap there to start with the doubling limb. Big takedown to start. Can we see the tire to finish it? Has to decide if they want to. Yes, sirree. That's going to be 3. And Junkrat there. DeMart's saving it for the side of Venezuela. Having a bit of a friendly hello from across the way down under. 40 seconds remain on the clock here. Venezuela has their eyes on the prize here. There is hope for them yet to be able to get a win here. Going in for that punch. Able to play for survival, but Doomfist goes down. There's something about Skycard that you just cannot put your finger on here. 18 seconds remaining. Bobby Wasabi trying to teleport away, but will get traded. Oh no, Doomfist is going to be locked in. Do they have anything to work with? They will be able to touch for the overtime here, but there's no ultimates. They're into overtime, and with their back against the wall, it's not looking good. That's a start there. It's a pick, but they need a little bit more there. Bobby Wasabi with the touch. If the Reaper can get the Death Blossom, it would have been fantastical. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. Ladies and gentlemen, Venezuela pulls away with a victory. And going to be seeing our ending scoreboard there. It's really DeMart's time to shine. I mean, good on Venezuela there. Really big showing. Took the point towards third and was able to put a stop to Colombia where they were snowballing.
All right, team. So we've been sitting here waiting for a little while, right? We've been sitting here waiting for a little while. Let's let's just do our. Oh, I guess we can't do it through here. Let's do our connections. Let's do our dailies. Let's do our dailies. While we wait for the next map. If it'll let me. Hold on. There it goes. There it is. All right. We're going to change it up from the usual because we're on stream and such. There's an eye. Good to know. Good to know. What else we got in here? Maybe we're gonna skip it for now. We'll go to connections. Diggity, rocks, slapdash, scrubs, surprises, rain, dissect, floors, Barbados, community, stuns, sprinkles, showers. Okay, I feel like showers, drizzle, sprinkles, rain, precipitation. Wow, we're really running out of things here, aren't we? Surprises, stuns, slapdash, rocks, like it rocks your world. One away. Oh, it floors you. So not slapdash, it floors you. There we go. What else we got here? What else we got? I'm a little confused by this one, I won't lie. Community and friends, I feel like would go together. What is slapdash? What is that? Slapdash. Something done quickly. Okay. Something that's done quickly. Diggity? What is, I don't understand. Diggity, like diggity, 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 like that kind of thing, like that one guy from the show. Oh, it means no doubt or no question. Okay, I actually didn't know that. I thought it literally just came from the word from that one guy from the show. But it's like slang for like no doubt about it. Slapdash, diggity, dissect, scrubs. Boom. One away though. One away. Oh, has it hold on a moment. Okay, my apologies. We're going back to we're locking back in. I'll see you on the other side, team.
This back, Snake here has the gravitational flux, needs to be careful not to get speared by the Orisa. The javelin now being used, as well as the spin. This is actually everything they've got. I think Orisa overcommitted for this. Is caught to start there. As soon as that javelin's used again, this could be a free play here for the SIG. They will be able to get those takedowns to start as they start it all up. And still pushing here. We've seen the Marts come and make plays while under pressure, but that's still a tall order to work with here against this team for certain. I'd be careful of the Tiger Barrage. Do not want to see Xion when they get mad. Oh, and look at this. The Marts into the back line there will be taken on down the end by New 7 through it all. As Bolo's been activated, there's the Tiger, finds one. And that's a team kill right there. A bit of a celebratory beat drop from Night Owl as they look to keep him in spawn. The Marts had Tire, but could not use it. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Columbia gonna solve it all with a 2-1 victory.
gamers? Welcome back to Copa America 2026. I am your host, caster, observer, producer, joined here by, of course, my good friend Bald Hyper. We are back after quite the hefty break. I do apologize. We had to wait for those other matches to wrap up before we could head into our final match of the week. But ladies, gentlemen, and gamers of all ages, wait no further, for we have the final game of Copa America's group stages, round 7, currently kicking off. It is going to be the United States versus Colombia. Now, both of these teams sitting at a 4-2 record at the moment. Not 100% sure if they're both locked in or not. That is above my pay grade to know. But you know, the standings do make it quite close, especially if Mexico and Peru are to pull out a victory here. So still kind of up in the air. Costa Rica currently undefeated, but I mean, again, all eyes right now on this match, Colombia versus USA. Colombia fresh out of a W against Venezuela. That's the game that we are waiting on to see just how long it could possibly take. But now we will be headed into the final round of group stages to set the stage for next weekend's playoffs. The top 6 from these group stages moving on to those playoffs. Still, with your final group stage match, it will be a 1-2, and we're kicking it off with USA's map pick and first ban. So I'll be interested to see what we head to, what gets banned, what gets played. We saw just last round, I think I have only covered USA now that I think about it, but we saw just last round the USA get forced to play Oasis against Costa Rica and losing. So I would be surprised to see anything that is not Ilios from the US, as it is their map pick, and they have brought us to Ilios every single time they possibly can. So it will be intriguing to see where we head to, what the bans are going to be, and if we're going to see a bit of that off-rolling again, with perhaps social on the perhaps social on the DPS against the old teammate of Timp as a possibility for the side of Colombia. So gonna be an exciting match to kick us off. Whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch, thank you so much. It genuinely does mean the world to me, and I am absolutely elated to be here, to be part of Copa America, and to cast for all of you. So again, we head into the final round here. It is gonna be USA versus Colombia, and we will indeed be headed to the first map of Ilios, picked by United States. Not surprising, I would say. Not a surprising choice whatsoever, with them looking as good as they have. But I think it is going to be intriguing to see what kind of bans we see come out, and also the rosters that come out. Because I think both of these teams have very, very in-depth rosters, with Colombia having let's see, I have to count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 members for the side of Colombia. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and also 10 for the US. So a plentiful amount, of players for both of these teams to pick and choose from. Many of which players that represent their country in the Overwatch World Cup. So we'll be heading into Ilios here. The bans are in for the United States. It will be a venture ban. It could be perhaps picked out you know, you don't want to play against the adventure of Colombia, or maybe it's just to cover off that DPS role. And on the other side of things, it's going to be the ban of D.Va from the side of Colombia. So it will be an intriguing match nonetheless as we look to hop in here. Venture and D.Va both out of the mix. D.Va is something we do see it often played, but I will say the Venture not a typical play, not a typical a hero that we get to see in action. So I think that it's more of a cover off ban. But we will just have to see. We will just have to see.
Ready for battle.
But we are locking and loading. Right now, as again, it will be Colombia versus the United States. Let's get things flipped around here, fixed up. There we go. Both sides locked, loaded, ready to go. It'll be the United States running out on a ball comp, and on the other side of things, a bit of a. I think they're typing. I think we're more so typing than anything else. But a hazard comp coming out from the side of Colombia. The ball of a midi rolling around, putting a bit of pressure onto Bobby Wasabi, the Bobby Wasabi, as they're known of, but getting booped in and blown up. Nadokado being forced out, or rather forcing out Bobby Wasabi, now looking for a bit more headed into this backline, putting the pressure onto Kratos-san, who tries to keep the rest of the squad rolling and ready to go. Gomez on this Xion now looks to put the pressure onto a midi falling immediately. That wall brilliant from Bobby Wasabi, as well as the tether from Kratos-san. Bobby Wasabi diving Asia, who is on that Xion as well, taking them down and out. Stella falling low, taken out by Super Gomez. And the cleanup is there from Colombia. Amity goes in, gets tethered, gets hard pressured out, immediately forced to scatter, but Super Gomez on that bike sends the bike into the back line, but looks to get on the run, but it'll be Butcher to butcher Social, taking them out of the fight, finding themselves 1 HP, but able to TP out onto the newly swapped Cassidy. Or maybe I'm just a little brain dead because it's been such a long wait time between matches, but it happens. Nadokado will have that Freya all online here, and like we spoke about during the previous match, that Freya able to put a lot of pressure onto tanks. Speaking of pressure, Asia pressured all the way back to the spawn doors as Stella finds new 7 Amity, found by Bobby Wasabi, and right now the US just struggling to even find an in. The Freya ult comes down onto Bobby Wasabi and the damage to follow suit. But Butcher is able to TP aggressively in, find the pick, and Stella shutting down Super Gomez's ultra aggressive ultimate. Amity now looking to do the same, going aggro into the backline, booping Butcher, but Butcher looks to live. Amity getting halted in place right alongside Social. Social able to break their way free of that, and now Nadokado finds the pick onto Bobby Wasabi. The ult from New 7 not quite able to find any picks, but Amity so low, almost taken down. Kratos desperately looking for the follow-up, but the point finds its way back into the hands of the United States. Stella with that ultimate still online, along with Butcher's ultimate. So a sheer trade of ultimates, but it's been so long that Asia and Nadokado has been able to get their ultimates online, or rather back online. So that ult economy slightly favoring that of the US, as now not Okado into the air and down with the backline as Super Gomez and New 7 both to drop alongside Bobby Wasabi, Stella to find their counterpart in Butcher, and that's gonna be wraps for that team fight. Lots of investments made as Stella and Okado both ult, but Okado already half HP to an ultimate of their own, but a midi going down early. New 7 able to look for an in, but it's not Okado in the backline, able to find Kratos-san on that Mizuki. Butcher falls low and out. Social getting traded, but not Okado is just there once again. 90 to another ultimate, taking full advantage of that passive from Freya of final blows, giving that extra ult charge. And Colombia really coming down to a final fight here. A midi going for an early ult as Azure goes for an ultimate of their own. New 7 immediately gets dropped, but Gomez is able to find the trade onto Azure. Not Okado's ult, not quite able to find value, but it'll be a rush to the point for Colombia to find the touch. Super Gomez will find it. Social dropping to half because of that flying motorbike, and Stella TPing to try and help a midi, not quite able to get the job done, and a midi will get dropped as Social now on the run from Bobby Wasabi. The ult to come out here from the side of Social though. Kratos-san TP's back and out, and Social looks to just kite out, play their time, play their life. Bobby Wasabi a little bit too aggressive perhaps though, as Azure forced to kite out. No ultimate online, but Super Gomez goes to use an ultimate of theirs, as getting stuck in place is Azure and absolutely obliterated by the bike. Once again, not Okado though, able to find Butcher, point trading in favor of the United States now. Fight truly could go either way, but Bobby Wasabi will struggle to reassess and re-aggress onto this point. Gomez able to make that point touch next on the list as a midi falls, but Stella to fall soon after that. Bobby Wasabi taken down, ult online here and used onto the Tracer. It will be 1 HP and New 7 will fall, but Butcher coming back. New 7 looks to come back, but it'll be Azure who cleans up. Good God. It truly coming down to the final fight, to the wire for that round. And gamers, that is just the first round in this first to two, excuse me, of maps.
I'll keep you safe.
So I am very intrigued to see how the rest of this, not only map, but round will go. Uh-oh. Oh well. As it will be the TP out here from Azure. And Social going back over to this Iati. No big surprises there, but you do have to think on, well, what type of team composition will be the better one, for lack of better terms. What team composition will flourish more, this ball composition or this more brawl-like composition? And truly, I do think either one can be successful. It is just a matter of how it is played and the counterplay that is applied to it. The bike thrown out by Gomez onto a midi. Not too much aggression being showed from either side. Bobby Wasabi tried to apply the pressure to that opposing high ground, but was forced out quite quickly and just caged now, being held from the likes of Colombia. But Colombia looked to take action, and Super Gomez is the one who catches the stray bullet. Stella going down, but Kratos-san finding the trade, and now a midi finds the boop off the map onto New 7, and that's going to allow the US to look to find their opening. Colombia able to look to try and take over the start of this point, but with Butcher going down, no healing will be left online. The tether from Kratos-san will lock a midi in place, but it'll only be temporary, as the United States will find their footing and find that first cap. And an early engage here from the US leads New 7 headed back to the spawn doors, and Stella popping off once again on that Kiriko. Azure will fall from the burst of that hazard, and New 7 will find now their swap over to the Freya of their own. But not Okado's ultimate, absolutely doing work into this front line, back line, every line of Colombia. But it's Colombia's Super Gomez to look to flip the point here and force the US back and force this brawl composition to do a bit of flourishing itself. Kratos' son immediately forced out, however, and it's new 7 that's going to have to try and pick up the pieces, but the US just blindingly paving the way for the rest of the squad. Social and Nadokado able to find their openings, and now we're headed up to that 50% mark, and also the aggression being shown here. Social nowhere to go but down. Social, the all not quite connecting onto Social, but holy, Super Gomez will get a lit via that ultimate, but new 7 landing that take aim shot will take down Social on the rotation. So things all evened up here.
Securing the objective.
And now Kratos-san finding Stella, Nadokado falling, things looking the way of Colombia as the point goes their way, and finally Colombia can have a bit of a sigh of relief. As things go the way of Colombia this fight, but these ultimates also looking in Colombia's favor. Azure and Nadokado both have these ults online. The slam to come through from a midi, but can the follow-up be there? Gomez looks head into the back line with the rest of the team. Vamos, as Super Gomez tries to clean up. Azure does find the pick with the assistance of Bobby Wasabi, but a midi is there to find the trade as well. But these numbers just go the way of Colombia once again. Amity will try to get out but won't be able to. New 7 and this swap over off of the Cassidy onto the Freya looks to be absolutely electric. Nadokado, Amity both have this ultimate of their own online, and it will just be a matter of can they find this advantage maintained for Colombia, or will the US be able to take advantage of this possible space they can take with an ultimate? But Bobby Wasabi just immediately taken down, removed, and it looks to be Super Gomez up next on the chopping block. Social finds that pick on a new 7 and the follow-up onto Butcher. Social just tracking it down this backline. Nadokado's got their back though. Point will flip in favor of the US, and the follow-up will be there as the Freya ult onto Bobby Wasabi will come out, and the counter Freya ult onto Amity is there as well. Amity struggling to escape the wrath of Colombia, but the US still playing so aggressive. Social in the back line on the Iati, able to find a pick on the new 7. Stella will fall, but the ult from Butcher canceled completely, it not even being able to get used. No output available. The mines come down, but Amity will get captured in the ultimate. Iati of Social will go for the ultimate, and it will land true, finding 3. Now the cleanup for the United States. Social will fall, but there will be no one else to touch, and it will be the United States to take map number 1 in a 2-0 fashion at that. But that first round, as well as the second round, you must say did look pretty damn close. The true definition of back and forth. Nadokado though on this first round playing the Freya, really making the difference. I think a large aspect of it came from just truly just came from having the advantage in playing the ball over the hazard. I think that hazard just not quite the pick against that Freya. Amity showing signs of struggle as well, especially once that Freya swap came into play. But now it will be the likes of the Squadron of Colombia to find their map pick. But it will be the United States' map pick, or excuse me, Colombia's map pick. Pardon me. My brain is scattered. And first ban.
Now arriving at the Shambhali Monastery. Initiating match.
Apologies, I'm distracted. We will be headed to Colombia's map pick here of Shambhali Monastery, as you might have heard.
Ready for battle.
I'm a bit behind because I've been yapping with Gomez, but it will be Shambhali Monastery with your bans of Yachty and Hazard. The Hazard ban. Wow, I am a consummate professional at my job. Bobby Wasabi on that first defense Sigma though, able to take out this front line of midi, falling. And immediately, New 7 on the May taking the advantage. Super Gomez popping off here. Once again on that Xion, matched up against Azure. I was so locked into yapping with Super Gomez. I had the pleasure of meeting him last October at DreamHack Atlanta, and so I was just catching up with them. But here's the time for Overwatch. A Social taking down Kratos' son with a beautiful early pick. Now Social going deep, looking for more, not quite able to find that pick, but a midi desperately wanting to find a trade to make it even. Finds one, finds the second. Not Okado with the assistance onto New 7. Is it News even or New 7? What? Butcher trying to stay alive, go for a pick on their way out, not quite able to land it. Social going for a long flank around with the likes of not Okado. Kratos-san being forced to use that Katakshiro return as well. Super Gomez looks to apply the pressure, and pressure applied indeed. Not Okado taken out. Social getting a hard looked at by Super Gomez and uses that Wu Yang ult on themselves. Not able to dash out of the way, and the follow-up will be there as Social finds 3 in the back line. Go. Stella gets found out in the meantime. Butcher eventually finding Social. We're just speaking in Chinese in the chat now, although it's US versus Colombia. It will be not Okado with that railgun trying to find an angle. Amedi has the ult online, but so does 4 members online from Colombia. Colombia looking to waltz their way up onto the high ground, up onto the main ground, I should say. But the ult used here from Kratos' will shut down Amity from really being able to do too much walking here. Super Gomez looking to play main, but also looking on this off angle, looking for a pick of their own. Shutting down Stella. The ult comes out from New 7, looking to stun out everyone they can. And Nato Kato mixed with Azur's ultimate, though, is a deadly combination. And it immediately removes not only that health, but the ability to touch point.
Good to see you.
It'll be the US to cap first point on Shambali Monastery. Super Gomez looking for an angle to start applying that pressure. So much damage in Shion's kit, especially once you start to get those perks online. But Bobby Wasabi still with this Sig ult, might be looking to use it early before Social can use their own ultimate. It'll be Super Gomez, though, to dive into the backline, find 2 to get shut down by a bike. But Kratos' able to hit the tether and clean up what remains of Azure. The ult used onto Amity here as Amity just waltzes forward. Butcher able to use that Suzu. Amity will live for now, but the stun will be there to shut down the potentials of a further walk. The Sig ult now used onto Bobby Wasabi, or rather Bobby Wasabi using the Sig ult onto Amity, shutting down a large portion of that health pool and the ability to walk. Getting low, but Bobby Wasabi able to find Nato Kato or surely spell a forceful kite here. Bobby Wasabi, though, going down to Azure in the midst of it all. A bit of an off-angle duel from Super Gomez and Azure here, but Super Gomez perhaps just going a bit too aggressive, but able to easily escort themselves out of the fight. And now, Super Gomez, full perks online. Butcher with an ult online, matching Stella's Kiriko ult. It'll be a hard engage moment here, and Kratos will have the ability to use the ultimate of their own, but it'll be just a little too late. The wall only temporarily halts Amity's backtrack, but this May ult from New 7 won't be able to really do much in terms of assisting Amity to take down Butcher. Kratos to fall shortly after, and the pick onto NATO's Kato won't be of any use, unfortunately, for Colombia, as Colombia is struggling to find their footing here. Super Gomez looking to live, is able to, and Bobby Wasabi switching over to the Mauga now. So different looks now for Colombia as they look to change it up. Change up this tempo perhaps as well. Amity on the Ramashra still getting kind of locked, literally locked into place here. Bobby Wasabi just playing it slow, kiting their way out. Railgun and Overclock online here. New 7 barely dodging the bullet, literally, as Azure is going to have this ultimate alongside the likes of Nato Kato, and Nato Kato to find a second as my camera disconnects, but we're mid-fight. Nato Kato looking to roll deep into the backline, finding the follow-up picks, finding it again and again. As I try and do some investigation here, I'm not really sure why this one's happening. We'll find out. There, are we back? I think we are so back. And speaking of back, it's Nato Kato who has to back after getting pressured out. And now that ult to get used onto Azure, headed into the backline. Butcher will go down because of it. Super Gomez's ult shut down as well. Now the ult gets used from Azure, pumping in the damage to the remaining members of Colombia, not allowing anyone to get out. Even the May ult dismantled. And it will be the US to full push all the way to the ends of Shambali Monastery. But things will still be available, options still available for the side of Colombia. They still have the opportunity to full push this, whether it be in overtime or with less than a minute. No matter what, as it is an escort map, given the instance that they full push it into overtime, it would simply give a minute on the clock for them and an extra minute for the side of the US. But if, say, it's with 50 seconds left on the clock, that's only 10 seconds added to their own time and the US's time. So, I mean, in best case scenario for Colombia, they cap with like 3 minutes and nobody gets any extra time. So there is potential here for Colombia to still catch this map and catch their own W. This is their map pick and their first ban. So they have the potential fully on the table here. And it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a Malga composition to start out this map with, as it's going to be the United States with this typical composition. Super Gomez on the Xion immediately out the gate. And the same Ramasher comp on the defense to be played, but Social again taking out New 7. Bouncing all around, sending the bike into the back line is Super Gomez, looking for an angle against Super Gomez, against Asia as well. That 2-on-1 fight a little bit difficult, getting a bit of backup from Kratos and Butcher. But the back and forth from both of these squads absolutely being put into use. Oh, the bike onto Social could be deadly though. Social unable to escape the wrath of Super Gomez, as this isn't just a regular Gomez, it's the super one. Finding a second on to Asia, and that could be this first defense shut down, shut out. Gomez back onto the bike, looking to parkour their way up, finds that direct landing onto Amity, but getting stuck in the slow from Amity, as Super Gomez will go down. Asia to pump in that damage. Amity still to try and find an angle on this point. Just forcing point, using that full block. But as soon as Bobby Wasabi goes to kite out, able to cancel that transformation and restart that cooldown to have it back in time for the next fight. But that late pick from Stella could be deadly, as it will be Kratos' son coming in close with that ultimate, playing these off angles quite significantly as well, as is Social. Social a lot harder on those off angles though, bumping in the damage, looking for their slam in. Amity goes for the ultimate, both Kiriko ultimates used, but it'll be Butcher who goes down with Amity's ultimate, catching 3, looking for a 4th, finding it. Asia and Amity, full commitment alongside Stella's Kiriko ultimate, and it pays off. Butcher's ult only matched by Kratos' ultimate. Pardon me, so it will be the likes of an early push from Kato. Stella finding one alongside Social. These supports doing work. Kratos' living for a while, but not before being shut down by Social on that Wu Yang. I've said it for some time, perhaps with a bit of bias previously, but Social, one of the better Wu Yangs genuinely in the world. I mean, okay, this is a bit much in terms of that aggression. Social looking to go ultra aggressive, uses the ult on themselves, just pop rushes it back into the back line, and you know what? My fault. Spoke too soon. But Bobby Wasabi will go down as a result from this engage. Amity will go and find that pick onto the ult, or onto the ult having Super Gomez, but it'll be Stella to go down to New 7's ultimate. This is such a such a chaotic fight, but most of it being, I would say, a good bit of that manufactured chaos. You know, the US forcing these early and very awkward fights with the ability to disengage or to re-engage at whenever chance they feel is necessary. Nadokado though, falling so late in the backline, won't quite do any favors there for the US. Pardon me, but it will be Asia with the ultimate back online, looking to press their advantage. Stella will have this ultimate alongside Butcher's ultimate, but these ults from Super Gomez and Bobby Wasabi will be online. Super Gomez finds Social, Amity, Asia, and Stella all to look to pop their own ultimates here. Asia goes into the backline, gets shut down by Super Gomez's ult, who finds 3. But there will this time be someone to touch point, unlike that last map. So Amity, the last that remains right now online and alive from the US, will get taken down. Stella swaps over to this Jetpack Cat Social, staying alive here. Super Gomez falling low, but the rest of Colombia back online here. Social having to put everything they can into keeping Amity online. Just barely that happening as Social almost having this bubble online. It'll be Bobby Wasabi falling low. Kratos-san closing in on this ultimate. Can Kratos-san get the ult before Social can? But the boot from the Diva forces everyone off the point. And I spoke it into existence. I'm so sorry. Another C9 on a map where the US is playing. And it will be the US to 2-0 Colombia in the final group stage round. They find the full push on Shambali. They find the win as the US goes all the way. I mean, by the way, I gotta say, Amity going 39-3, 15k damage. Not Okado 31-6, 15.6k. Asia going 30-6, 12.5k. There are some impressive numbers on the board there, but I believe I will stay live for a little while longer. We'll figure out what we're gonna play, but that's gonna be week 1 of Copa America all wrapped up. Your final scores, granted, some games might still be ongoing, but we can take a look at this final standings here. We can take a look at the final standings as they look right now. First place, Costa Rica going 7-0, not a single loss. Second place, USA, Canada third. It looks like there is still a match ongoing. I mean, Canada, Colombia, I believe all these teams, definitely this top 5 locking their way in. But it'll be interesting to see. Actually, Canada would be locked in whether they win or lose the match that is ongoing. So with that, your top 6, I believe, is locked in. I believe I just heard word Puerto Rico losing. So your top 6 seemingly locked in here. And it'll be a great week 2. It'll be a great playoffs week. That kicking off next weekend. So make sure you are here for that. I'll be here casting it as well. So be there, be square. Make sure you follow Grupo Sinju. Thank you, Copa America and Grupo Sinju, for allowing me to be here and to cast. And it's been truly an absolute blast. And I can't wait for next week. I can't wait to continue this absolute wicked occasion of Overwatch, where it's almost like a sidebar of the World Cup, and these teams and players get to fight for a bit of extra cash money, which who doesn't love that? But if you just came for the casting, just came for the matches, thank you. It genuinely does mean a lot. But stick around. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna chill out for a little bit. We'll see what we do for how long, but I really do appreciate you all coming, watching, hanging out. Much love. Take care of yourselves, but don't go anywhere. I'll see you all very soon.